I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Mayor and Council for Monday, August 15th, 2016. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Present are Mayor Marion Galbraith, Deputy Mayor Keith Hedrick, Councilors Andrew Ovento, Stephen Sheffield, Conrad Heath, Lawrence Garish, Finance Director Ron Newhouse, Clerk Deborah Patrick. Excused is Councilor Jill Rusk.
Thank you very much. Please stand to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We need a motion to amend the agenda to add resolution R-16-8-90.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining. Are there any recognitions, awards, or memorials? I would like to recognize someone because we haven't had a meeting since City Day. And Deb, I would like to recognize you. I'd like to recognize Parks and Rec and all our departments who participated. Public Works was there, and the police and the fire and GU. All the departments of GU were there. But I particularly wanted to thank you, Deb. You did a fabulous job preparing for that. So thank you very, very much.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I have two people I would like to remember. Last Monday was a year since we lost our deputy chief, deputy mayor,
Former deputy mayor, yep.
Bill Jervis, who was a great loss to the city, in my opinion. And the other person, a former policeman, former city councilor, decorated war veteran, Bill Hart, who passed, and that this service was today.
Yeah, Deb and I went to the service. What a good man.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I'll miss Bill. He would come in and we would chat for 5 minutes or so every time he came into the building.
Yeah, Bill was a good guy.
And Bill Jervis also. We'll miss him all the time.
Right.
Can I just add one thing to that?
Yes, of course.
Well, of course, I was thinking the same thing about mentioning Bill. It hasn't been the same since he left, that's for sure. And Bill Hart always came to school on Veterans Day, and he shared all of his stories with the kids. And, you know, we'd sit, and Mayor, even when you were still a teacher there, you'd sit in this room with these kids who sometimes as teachers it's hard to get them to focus, but they would sit in absolute silence and listen to Bill and all the other guys, many who have since passed. But I vividly remember him being there with George Swift and other people, and them telling the stories, and the kids sitting there just absolutely silent, looking up at them. And that's something very important. I'm glad our kids had the opportunity to meet him and others, so we remember him and we thank him for everything he's done for our city and our country.
Thank you. Thank you to both of you. Jill's here. This is still going to be you.
I'll read it.
Yep. Okay, we'll go to receipt of citizens' petitions and comments. Seeing none, we'll skip past the response to citizens' petitions and comments and go to approval of minutes. May we have a motion to approve the minutes of the August 1st, 2016 Mayor and Council meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any additions or corrections? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining. Communications and report, including group committee updates. Councilor Ilvento.
I have nothing. I was away, so I didn't even get to go to City Night, but I heard it was great, and thanks to everyone who worked hard to put that together.
We had a good time flipping those burgers. Jill? Excuse me, Councilor Rusk.
That's okay. On that note, I did have a great time flipping burgers. I did have a great time flipping burgers at City Day, and I did attend the Group 1 meeting on August 8th, where economic development, we just went over some changes in wording for some ordinances.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilor Sheffield.
I also attended City Day, and it was a fabulous evening. Weather was perfect for that night, so had a great time.
Thank you very much. Councilor Heed.
I also attended City Day, where I was the taste quality person. So
Quality control?
Quality control. So I made sure the hamburgers were good.
You didn't like take a bite out of each one before you handed them out or something? Just kidding.
And then,
We don't
of course,
do that.
we also had, that was on the 5th. On the 8th, we had Public Works Group 1 meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Counselor Garish?
I did not go to City Day this year, the first time.
We missed you.
We did.
First time in many, many years, but I did have another commitment, and I felt bad that I had to miss it. And I did attend the group meeting with Councilor Heed and Councilor Rusk, and I believe you will be giving a report on that.
Correct.
You know. Otherwise, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Deputy Mayor Hedrick.
Thank you. I also attended City Day, and again, Deb, thank you very much, and to all the department heads for what they were doing. I mean, all the departments worked, but the department heads were out there cooking as well, so everybody was active. It was a lot of fun. And on the 8th, I attended Mother Bailey House task force meeting, and we're now going to start meeting every week because we're coming up against the deadline on how long we were assigned, and one of the things that we're doing is coming up with different proposals which will be brought to the council for review once they're done. I mean, it'll be later September or so, because we have another month on the original task. And there was no finance committee meeting, and that's all I have.
Thank you very much. City Clerk Deb Patrick.
Well, City Day on August 5th, and I would like to thank Mary Hill and her staff, because without them I could never do what I do. And to all of the counselors who were able to make it, thank you very much for your help. To Ron Uhas for coming and helping for a little while. Heidi was there.
Yep.
And to all the departments for the displays. I know that the kids had a great time. And to the Navy for bringing that huge obstacle course. I think they had a line all night long. So
Yep,
thank
there-
you, everyone.
And they brought the submarine that
Yes,
used to
the
be the one on the
submarine, yes.
highway, you know, they
Right.
put it on wheels.
Yes.
And they brought
Oh,
that out
really?
as well. That's the original one that was on the highway.
Cool.
So they brought that. Thank you very much. Finance Director Ron Uhas.
Nothing to report.
Okay, thank you very much. I am just going to say that I've done a lot of things with Submarine Century lately. Art on Groton Bank was a really nice program, and that came off very, very well. And I want to thank Parks and Rec for their assistance with that as well. Let me see, what else? We were on the Bark Eagle on Saturday night, which was very nice. As I said, attended Bill Hart's service this morning. And then other than that, just a lot of work. Just work and then work.
And water taxi rides.
And so now Tim is here, Tim Umrish is here to give an update on Jupiter Point property. Is that part of your report?
That's correct.
Okay, so do
That's
you
the
want to
report.
start and then Tim will
Sure.
jump
absolutely.
in? Tim, do you want to come up and join Ron here?
So, Councilor Garish and Councilor Rusk attended the Group 1 meeting with myself, and Tim Umrish, I'll never get that name right, I'm sorry, Umrish, and Carlton Smith attended as well. Essentially, we started out with the history of, like, the background. How did all this start? So the resident approached Carl asking if he needed to obtain a permit to build a wall. And although Carl explained that he didn't need a permit, he strongly recommended that he speak to the City Highway Department to find out where his property line is located. And so we went through, the conversation, how the resident essentially assumed it was behind the telephone pole, but there's a 50-foot variance going from one side of the road to the other side of the road. And the evening ended with us requesting Tim to go out and validate that he had the right markings, so that we could at least approach the resident to say, this is where the property line is. You built the wall on our property, or we made a mistake, you built the wall on your own property, or whatever the situation is. We wanted to be sure of where we stood with the resident, where exactly, to the best of our knowledge, the line is located. And then we went through all of the issues surrounding, could we be flexible at all? Would we allow the resident to continue to leave the wall on city property? And that creates issues of litigation where if an accident were to happen, we could become liable for it as a party. So there was a concern with that. Not to mention the slippery slope of you let one resident do it, then several others want to do it, but you let him do it kind of thing. So we wanted to be really sure of where the line is, and at the end of the day, we would like to get a recommendation from the lawyer, our city attorney, to find out how exactly we would proceed.
Well, I can answer that. If we don't want it on property, they have to take it down.
Oh, right.
They're given an order to take it down and it goes. That's, I don't know that we have, I mean, we can spend money getting that from the attorney, but.
I think what the purpose of that legal opinion came from was we wanted to be sure that we were right in telling the people to take it down. In other words, is it really on city property? We wanted to be able to document that that is a fact, that it is on city property. Because we did ask the highway director how we determined the 50-foot right-of-way from where to where. And I don't think it was like, well, we believe it's from here to here. But I think we wanted to know for sure before we told them to tear it down.
So are you asking the attorney to tell you where the line is, or?
No, we want to make sure that the wall is on city property. There should be some documentation, some records to show exactly where the property lines are.
I understand that part of it, and that's what Tim was working on. What I don't understand is what opinion you want from the attorney. An opinion on whether or not we can tell somebody to take something off our property?
No, the concern was that we just didn't want to sort of willy-nilly say take the wall down. We wanted to make sure that we were doing it the right way, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So,
all right.
yeah, I mean, we also considered other factors such as could we sell the property, and the expenses related to selling it would be more expensive and cost the city more than the property is probably worth. So we were just putting all of our ducks in a row.
Okay.
And we just thought
And
that,
getting back to the legal opinion, if we need one, I mean, if it can be documented that this is exactly the property line starts here, if there's some evidence and documentation, map, or whatever, it didn't appear that we were 100% sure. We think this is the 50-foot right-of-way.
Okay.
So we wanted to establish that, and if it would require any legal opinion, but it may not. But we want to make sure that that's.
Okay. Tim, what did you want to?
In further researching that, across the road, I found two points. One we knew was there. One I knew where it was, but I have uncovered it. So stretching the line and measuring across. The property on one corner is 1.6 feet on cities. The wall is 1.6 feet over. And on the southern end, it is 2 feet over on the city property.
Okay, and do we have maps that show the layout of that road?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and so you when you say you found points, are those millstones?
Mirrorstone and
Okay.
an iron pipe that I was aware of.
Okay.
And that was another thing, like Tim just said. We also wanted to know if it was over a foot and a half here as the wall ran in either direction, was it the same on the other end?
So apparently not.
And it's greater.
But apparently it's still on city property. It doesn't run at an angle or something.
Okay, so is that what you needed to know from Tim?
Yeah,
Yes.
if he's happy with,
I'm confident.
confident that that's the markings, then we would have to go by that.
So what is the next thing you want us to do?
The next thing would, did you want to speak or did you want me to continue?
you can continue it. It's the same.
I think we were pretty much in opinion that, or in agreement, that if it's on city property, then it has to be moved.
Okay. Do you want me to get the attorney to say that we have the right to tell somebody to move it if it's when it's on our property? Do you need that?
Well, I don't think that we have to.
I don't think so.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you feel comfortable with the information you have and that you have, okay.
We
All right.
wanted to make sure, for example, if the resident is required by law or something to be given recourse so that if they have to,
Okay.
you know, just that kind of question. We weren't sure if they would be allowed to pay for their own survey, to have their property surveyed, for example.
They
But we
certainly
thought-
can do that. In fact, I think it was one of the suggestions that was given to them in the very beginning, was that they get a survey.
So in that case, it was the general consensus that if the wall, as Councilor Garish said, if the wall is on city property, it has to be moved.
Yep.
So
Okay.
if we should request it, or
Yes.
I have a
Mayor.
question for Tim. Tim, this 50-foot, this is documented somewhere?
Yes,
I mean,
it
there's
is.
a,
Yes,
so the 50-foot requirement is documented somewhere, so we have a, based on that being a documented requirement, we now have a no non-compliance.
right, layout of Jupiter Point is 50 feet.
Okay.
Right, that's not gonna be true of every city street, so
Oh,
that's why, there's a different map for every.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but I just
And
wanted to make sure.
that's what we would want to get established.
Yep, absolutely.
Counselor Il Vento.
Thank you, Mayor. Now, Councilor Heed said that Carl had recommended that they have a conversation with you. Did that ever happen?
Never happened.
Okay, so.
I have talked to the owner after that, after the wall was built. And I did mention that it wasn't too late, he ought to get it done.
Mhm.
It wasn't too late, you ought to get a survey done?
Get the survey done right away. If you're disputing it, pretty cheap, get the survey done.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, I'm
Oh, I'm
sorry.
sorry, no, yes.
basically,
Councilor Heed.
Carl explained that this was part of a bigger conversation where
Mhm.
the resident was looking to do multiple projects. So that's why I think we were being very careful about how we proceeded with it, because it clearly wasn't just, oh, he messed up, let's punish him.
Right.
We wanted to make sure that we were in the right.
Makes sense.
Well, it's not the first time it's happened. I think I asked about it before, and you said you've had to tell people.
I've had to tell people not to do it. We've had people who have tried to use the city property to make a new driveway in front of their house, and we've had to tell them no. But I've also told somebody not too far from there that they couldn't put in a fence that was, because they had bushes, and the bushes might have been at one point planted behind the city line, but they had
Wow.
extended. They took out the bushes, and then they wanted to put the fence at the farthermost place where the bushes were, and that was well onto our property, and so we said, no, you can't do that, and that fence has never gone up.
Well, I think in this case, it's unfortunate that it wasn't a requirement to get a building permit. But according to our building inspector, it was not required because the man came down here thinking that he needed a permit and was told that he didn't. And I say it's too bad that it wasn't required, because then, it probably would have been checked out by the building department. And
Right. I
would have
don't
been
think,
discovered before the wall was built.
I don't think the building permit issues are issues of, I think those are state regulations. Are the state?
Yeah.
I think those are so,
Oh,
You don't need one till 6
Carlton
foot.
said that, it wasn't necessary
right, yeah.
for what they were building.
Mhm.
So, unfortunately, too bad it wasn't, because it probably would have prevented some of this.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go to committee referrals. Are there any committee referrals that anyone would like to make? Seeing none, new business. Counselor Il Vento.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R16-8-88. Therefore, be it resolved, that the mayor and council accept donations. I so move.
Second?
Are there any comments or questions? This is a yearly donation that we get from the McGurrs. Very, very generous of them. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining. Counselor Rusk.
Thank you. Resolution R-16-8-89. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize and provincially approve the contract of BL Companies Incorporated, 355 Research Parkway, Meriden, Connecticut, for the quoted price of $22,600.00 for engineering, bid support, and construction administration services for the City of Groton Municipal Building Heating, Ventilation, and Air Conditioning HVAC System project to be paid from previously reauthorized various public improvement bond funds. I so move.
Second.
You maybe remember we talked about this a while back, and we sent it back saying, you know, let's get the whole HVAC system engineered so that if we're able to, you know, because it's easier to do everything at once. So, and especially since we have applied for a neighborhood assistance grant to do so that we can do more of the HVAC than we anticipated. So, Tim, was there anything you wanted to add on this?
This will include all 11, which is 7 more than the original estimate was for.
And it's only 4,000 more. So that was a good deal to do that, because,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it'll be an add-all.
And then it's
If it
just-
comes in low,
yeah.
we can add,
Yep.
you know, the oldest one and
Yep.
keep going. All the work will be done.
Good.
any questions? Yes, Councilor Garish.
Curiosity, were there any other bids on this other than this company?
This is the company that, remember, we already have 2 approved engineering companies that we use. So this is one of the approved engineering companies.
But this was the only bid that
We don't go out to bid anymore on the engineering companies because we went out to bid, we did a request for proposals and accepted 2 companies quite a while ago. So we don't go out to bid on them anymore. We did that bid process to accept them in the first place, and they then gave us a cost for 4 different kinds of work. And that cost is the result of the bidding process.
Okay. That answers that in case it ever was to come up.
Very good. If there are no more questions, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining. Deputy Mayor Hedrick.
Thank you. Resolution R-16-8.
Thank you, Tim.
90. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize the city of Groton to purchase and install outdoor security cameras from Communications Plus LLC, 84 Salem Turnpike, Norwich, Connecticut, for a total cost of $23,100.01 to be paid from the accepted fiscal year 2017 State of Connecticut Department of Emergency Management and Homeland Security Nuclear Safety Emergency Planning Fund. I so move.
Second.
So what happens to get the emergency, the emergency and Homeland Security money, we have to submit a proposal to them, and we submit a proposal for the use of budgeted funds. They give us so much money per year, and you can use it for security, you can use it for emergency operations, things like that. So this is a project that has been accepted from the Homeland Security, but because it's more than the $10,000, we wanted to come to you. This money will all come from outside of us. It's part of the grant that we get every year. What else would you like to add, Finance Director Ron Uhas?
But like the mayor said, our total grant for this year was $30,300. So this is just a portion of it. Other portions of it are the police chief stipend, and there was some some training tables and some other things. But this was the biggest piece of it, and it's for 5 new security cameras for the outside of the building. One on each corner on the front, 1 in the back over on this side, and then 2 in the spot that's, I think, currently blind right now. I don't think there's cameras there. So it's to get the outside fully secure with cameras and the installation and so on and so forth with it.
Questions?
Certainly a worthwhile thing to have.
Yeah. I mean, the technology has changed so that after a while it makes sense to replace them, and yep. So we'll be doing that in pieces. You know, we only, again, the grant's only so big, and you try to make sure you cover different things. We've moved up the ham radios from the basement to upstairs, and that was part of emergency money as well. So if there are no other questions, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining. That ends our business for tonight.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Oh, I forgot to remind you, City Police play the Town Police, the ball game this Saturday at 4:30. We hope everyone will come out.